There's some common myths or misconceptions about the equipment broker industry. I, I firmly believe it's one of the best ways that a person can become rich or wealthy, and that's by becoming a third-party seller selling used heavy equipment. And the big reason is there's no inventory costs since you're not actually buying equipment. I read a couple blog articles recently, and one of them didn't really know what they were talking about at all. In fact, they had an article in their blogs from everything from barbecuing, making a quilt, to brokering equipment. And blogs like that, they're basically just trying to build traffic so they can make money on banner ads. But here are some main misconceptions or just outright myths about the equipment broker industry. First one that was in one of these blogs: myth. Tremendous competition, many auctions, i.e. Ritchie Brothers was their example. Yeah, there's competitors. And Ritchie Brothers is a $4 billion a year company in a $300 billion a year market. That's like saying a Ford dealership would not work in a city of 100 or 150,000 people because there's already a Chevy dealer, a Dodge dealer, a Mercedes dealer, a Volkswagen dealer, a Nissan dealer, and on, or that, that's not even counting all the used car lots. A poverty mindset is always going to see nothing but poverty and lack. This is not a myth or a misconception, but he thought it was a drawback in his article. Widely varying prices. Well, yeah, prices vary, but one of the reasons for that is prices are all over the board because most sellers don't actually know what their equipment's worth. They know what they would like to get for it, but they don't know the value. And unfortunately, most brokers have never been trained on how to price equipment. So they do not know how to price equipment. Therefore, prices vary. Another drawback that they said is the condition can widely vary on condition. Well, yeah, that's absolutely true. Some equipment has been well maintained, some has not. Of course, it's going to vary. That's like a used car. Some used cars are in excellent condition, some are not. This is a misconception. Extensive travel involved to show equipment to potential buyers. It totally depends on you, the broker. Some work local, some do not. It's personal preference or depending on where you live. If you live in a very small rural community, you're certainly going to have to drive to be successful. Potential to lose a deal over condition and pricing. Of course, that's true. If the price is too high based on the condition, no one is going to pay that. People do not pay more than something's worth. That's just common sense. I couldn't even believe they put that in their article. Myth. A 2-year-old blog that I read, one of these, has said North America is saturated. There are 1.3 million realtors in the U.S. in 2018. People become realtors every week. Thousands of people do. There are 1.2 million insurance agents in the U.S. Thousands of people become insurance agents every week. Those two industries are saturated. The average equipment broker has about 25 to 50 clients they work with regularly. And if you want to earn a huge income, you'll have about 75 plus regular clients that you work with on a continuous basis. It takes several thousand equipment brokers actively working day in and day out to even come close to tapping the market potential. Next one is a myth. You must become highly knowledgeable in customs regulations and proper documentation of various countries along with international transport. You absolutely do not. You should not. That's what customs brokers are for. And a buyer should do his own paperwork, or he has the option to pay a customs broker $300 to $500 to do his paperwork. It's not practical to know the regulations of every country on the face of the planet, and you should never attempt to because you will never be able to if you're not a customs broker. And export is really a small percentage of sales. Myth. You must have extensive mechanical, electrical knowledge to evaluate equipment. Only if you're going to perform a mechanical inspection. You're not a mechanic. You're an equipment broker. We teach you not to do this, for you are not a mechanic. You are simply performing a visual inspection on behalf of the buyer. If a buyer wants a mechanical inspection, he'll pay for it. Just like if you're buying a house and you want a homeowner's inspection or a buyer's inspection, you pay a company to come inspect the house for you. A buyer with buying equipment does the same thing. Most buyers don't actually do that, but if they do want to do it, they pay for it. You do not perform a mechanical inspection. You're not a mechanic. In their article to say the mining industry is in a severe downturn. Who cares? Don't specialize in niche markets. That's crazy talk. We teach you not to focus on niches. For when you marry a niche, you then marry their peaks and their valleys. A myth. You must have numerous contacts in various in the various industry users of equipment. He really worded that poorly. Absolutely not. When I started in this industry years ago, I did not have a single contact, not one, in the industry. And I listed 100 units in my first 30 days. Now, I worked my hind end off. I worked my butt off to do that because I was dead serious about being successful at what I was doing. I did not dabble. I worked. You don't have to do 100 in the first month to be successful. But you do need to be taught how to find equipment, what to say, and how to structure your offer so sellers will consign with you, of course. And you got to put in effort. We can teach you how to do that. One of the blogs said a drawback of the industry is you must have a website with numerous photos. Any professional business is going to have a website. It doesn't have to be elaborate. It doesn't have to be anything more than $80 a month type of website. But yeah, you should have a basic website. And believe it or not, it's hard to sell equipment without taking a picture of it. I don't know if that's a drawback. You need to take pictures. That's comical. And then they went on to say, you need to know technical details of each piece of equipment. Again, no, you do not. You're not a mechanic. You're a broker. Technical details are not as important as a lot of people believe. So that's a misconception more than a myth. And the reason is there's over 44,000 models of equipment. Not a human being on earth knows them all. If you spent 20 minutes studying every unit for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, it'll take you over 7 years to read all 44,000 models. And obviously 20 minutes is not enough time to learn much, and you're certainly not going to retain that volume of information you just poured in your brain. If someone, a buyer, has a question on one of your units that you can sign, you have two options. If you don't know the answer, you have two options. Call your seller and ask and get the answer, or Google it. It's that simple. And if you really can't find the answer, you just tell the buyer, I don't know. It's okay to not know everything. The problem is a lot of people try to pretend they know everything. No one appreciates that. People can tell when they're being BS'd. If you want to make a below average income brokering equipment, you can do it through trial and error. If you want to make above average income, you need to have training on what to do and how to do it. Equipment Broker Academy training will teach you how to be successful in brokering heavy equipment. You can visit our website, equipmentbrokeracademy.com, and learn more about the industry and our training program. And who knows, it might just be what you've been looking for.